The world of AI is just moving at an absolutely breakneck pace. It feels like new models, new tools, and new capabilities are dropping every single day. But this incredible speed, well, it's a classic double edged sword. On one side, it's unlocking this amazing potential we could only dream of. But on the other, it's creating a landscape that is chaotic, messy, and frankly, sometimes pretty dangerous. Let's kick things off with a perfect example of this chaos in action. Just take a look at this. These charts, they tell a wild story. For years, if you look at the left side of the graph, the number of new apps hitting Apple's App Store was, pretty steady. Then these new assistant coding tools get released and bam, the whole thing just explodes. We're talking a massive vertical spike in new apps. It's like people are treating the App Store like a blog now, just spitting out one app after another. And the problem, most of them have zero users, zero revenue. They're basically what everyone started calling AI slop. Apple's review process, which used to take a few hours, is now dragging on for weeks because they're just completely drowning in this flood. And this really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. I mean, it is incredible that an AI can build a functional app in just minutes. But what are the hidden costs here? What starts to break when we move this fast? Because this flood of AI slop, it's really just the most visible symptom. It's the tip of the iceberg of a much, much deeper issue. So let's just talk about this AI app flood for a second. This gold rush mentality, it's breaking everything. It seems like every developer with an entrepreneurial spark is trying to code their way to a $100 million payday. But as we're seeing with the App Store, this is completely overwhelming the old gatekeepers, the old review processes that were all designed for a much slower, human-powered world. But honestly, a clogged-up App Store isn't even the most dangerous part of this whole thing, not by a long shot. The real, and I mean real, danger is in something way more fundamental: the security of the very tools everyone is rushing to use to build all these AI apps in the first place. We just saw a perfect and pretty scary example of this with a tool called Light LLM. The threat wasn't some huge frontal attack on a server like in the movies. No, it was way more subtle. It was a tiny, malicious piece of code hidden deep inside a popular software package that literally thousands of AI projects depend on. The potential damage here is just staggering. This quote from AI researcher Andrej Karpathy really lays it out. The attackers weren't just going after one thing. They were trying to grab everything: your cloud credentials, your SSH keys, your crypto wallets, even your shell history. It was a smash and grab for the digital keys to the entire kingdom. So, how'd they pull it off? They used this brilliantly simple and super sneaky trick involving something called a .pth file. So first, this malicious file with a .pth extension gets added to the software package. Now here's the really clever part. This specific file type just automatically runs code the second the Python programming language starts up. It doesn't need to be called or imported like normal code, which means it is practically invisible to the standard security checks that developers count on to catch this stuff. And this whole incident just perfectly illustrates how the game has completely changed. The old way of thinking was about hacking a specific server. The new threat is about hacking the entire AI supply chain. You don't go after one target anymore. You poison one popular tool and you can infect thousands of projects that use it. The blast radius isn't limited anymore. As one expert put it, in this new world of AI agents, the entire file system becomes part of the attack surface. Think about that. Okay, so that's the nightmare scenario. But the story doesn't end there, thankfully. In response to all this chaos and these new threats, the industry is actually getting a lot smarter. The focus is starting to shift from just building bigger, more powerful models to building safer, more reliable systems to actually control them. And the key idea here is that real-world capability doesn't just come from the raw horsepower of the AI model itself. It comes from the harness you build around it: the infrastructure, the guardrails, and all the systems that guide what the model can and can't do out in the real world. So what does this harness actually look like? Well, a lot of the time, it's the really unglamorous but absolutely essential engineering work. We're talking about building systems for retries when a task fails, or rollbacks to undo mistakes. It's things like structured logging so you can see exactly what an agent is doing. And this is a huge one: building in human approval steps for really critical actions. This is the stuff that actually makes AI safe enough to use for real.
And we're already seeing this in action. Take Anthropic, for example. They're working on what they call a multi-agent harness. So instead of having one giant super agent try to do everything, they get a bunch of specialized agents to work together. Maybe one is an expert at writing code for a website, and another is great with databases. The harness manages them all, letting them tackle really complex projects together. It's just a much more robust and controlled way to build.
Now, at the exact same time as this push for safety and control, there is another race happening, a race for pure, raw performance. Because for AI to be truly useful, it doesn't just have to be safe, it also has to be incredibly fast and efficient.
2.7 times. That is the speed up from a new technology called Flash Attention 4, compared to the old methods on the latest GPUs. And let me be clear, this isn't some small, tiny improvement. This is a massive leap forward in performance. It means faster answers, lower costs, and the ability to run way more complex models than we ever could before. And Flash Attention is just one piece of this bigger puzzle. I mean, look at this table. The entire AI stack is being optimized from top to bottom. You've got tools like VLLM that are jacking up throughput. You've got TurboQuant, which is slashing memory usage by 6 times. And then Flash Attention 4 is just crushing it on runtime speed. The really crucial takeaway here is that these huge wins are coming from every single layer, runtime, memory, systems, not just from building bigger and bigger models. So all this intense change, the push for safety, the race for speed, it's causing a massive reshuffling of the entire industry. Companies and talent are constantly on the move, and they're placing these huge bets on where they think this is all headed. Right now, the most intense competition in AI isn't really for customers. It's for the very small group of elite researchers and engineers who can actually build these next-generation systems. And because of that, what we're seeing is this massive consolidation of talent. A perfect example of this was when Microsoft basically hired away the key leadership from the Allen Institute for AI, or AI2, which is a major open research group. Top people like Ali Farhadi, Hana Haji Shirzi, and Ranji Krishna all moved over. And this has raised some really serious questions in the tech community about whether nonprofit open research can even survive when they have to compete with the insane resources of these giant tech companies. And this pressure is so intense, it's forcing even the giants to get laser-focused. Take OpenAI, for instance. Reports are suggesting they're winding down the product side of their big video model, Sora. And why would they do that? To free up computer power and engineering talent for their next massive foundational model, which is apparently codenamed Splud. The signal couldn't be clearer. Everyone is going all in on building that core model infrastructure. So that's where we are today. We're in an industry that is moving at a truly incredible speed, creating both these astonishing new abilities and some terrifying new risks along the way. The engine of AI progress is accelerating faster than anyone ever imagined. And it really just leaves us with one final